In a past issue of the Harvard Business Journal, there was an article by a business consultant who had been asked to address some high uppity-ups in the business world, leaders in corporations and things like that. And he started off by saying to them, "Why should anybody be led by you?" He said there was a hushed silence in the room. All you could hear were knees knocking, business knees. This is pretty much what Jesus is doing in this gospel reading. He's talking to the Pharisees, the leaders, religious-wise, of the Jewish people, and he's critiquing them on their leadership. But his critique would apply to anybody in a position of leadership. And we, of course, immediately think, because of what some have called, and I think I agree, a crisis of leadership in our church in the past 25 years or so, why we're in the paper so much. Bishops, cardinals, priests. But leadership goes far beyond that. Aren't parents leaders? Aren't teachers leaders? Aren't any baptized person leaders? So, knees should knock if leaders have been specializing not in their leadership, but in themselves. What are some of the vices of leadership? Unavailability to those whom they lead. Unaccountability to those whom they lead. And a presumed invulnerability. Again, we have to take it from the realm of the others to ourselves, because every single baptized person is called to be a leader. At the time of baptism, once the person has been plunged into Christ and has taken on the life of Christ, immediately they are anointed on their head with sacred oil. And they're told that they, like Christ, are a priest, a prophet, and a king. Now you translate that into modern language. A prophet is somebody who speaks for God, in God's name, speaks God's will when it's needed. A priest, of course, is one who mediates for others, and that's exactly what the Christian people are called to do, just as Jesus did and does, because we are in Christ. He's doing it through us. And the kingship part is the leadership part. We're all called to be leaders in our own sphere of influence, in the name of God and through Christ. So we need to focus on our own leadership qualities and not just look and critique those of others. Although, I must say, I think it is incumbent upon us to critique the leadership that we have been given, especially when it needs to be critiqued. What are the qualities of a leader? First of all, availability. Not distancing themselves from those who have been put into their care. Be that the bishop, the pope, or mom or dad, or anybody in between with a leadership position. Accountability is another one. That we are accountable for what and for those who have been put into our care. We are accountable to God, that's pretty obvious. But isn't it also obvious that we are accountable to those we are given to care for? And the last quality that I would mention for a good leader is vulnerability. The ability to be hurt. The willingness to be hurt in practicing the leadership which has been given us or shared with us through Christ. Because leadership always involves suffering. St. Peter reminded us of that in the second reading today. He said, "Our shepherd, our leader, suffered for us. By his wounds we are healed." So leadership always involves pain for others. So I guess the bottom line for this Sunday of the Good Shepherd is that we realize that we are not just sheep being led by Christ, but we are Christ's leaders in the world, leading others to Him, who is the gateway to the Father. And this will apply whether we're leaders in the church, the diocese, the parish, the family, the workplace, even the monastic community. We are all called to follow Christ, but because we are in Christ, we are all leaders with Christ, taking everyone to the Father.